Good morning, good to be with you. Fire away, it's up to you guys.
So how about, I know you're concentrated on the conference matchups and conference games, but how do you like to see games like what we're going to see today?
Oh, it's great. I've been to 2 weeks of non-conference games, and both my games today are non-conference games. I'm going to go to South Bend after this. And it's good for college football. Good to play our Big Ten colleagues. This is the third week in a row we've had one of these games. I think this is the last, so this is the rubber match, as they say. We'll see what happens.
Hey, what do you think of this kind of push to amend the Sports Broadcasting Act and let conferences, I guess, pool TV rights?
Yeah, we're nearing the finish line of a 5-year effort. You know, it's like Doc Brown, Marty McFly, and the DeLorean. We're back to the future. There's been this forgetfulness that the NCAA had all the rights, and eventually schools said, wait, that doesn't work. Tried it under the College Football Association. Not everybody participated in that group. And then people spun off. And the position, the decisions we've made, I think should be honored. I'm happy to have conversations, but it doesn't seem that the numbers are consistent with reality. It doesn't seem that the suggestion that you can just make this happen honors existing agreements. And so there's a lot more to that than just some magic button that hits. I've said over and over, we're dealing with complexities in college sports that have to be understood, and those complexities make some of these simple solutions much more difficult than they seem.
When it was announced that the SEC was moving to a 9-game schedule, I think you said there were several factors involved in how to choose permanent opponents for each school, geography, rivalries. I don't think those were the only two. But could you characterize what the pecking order of those priorities is?
It's nice to know people listen, because sometimes I'm asked, like, what is the order going to be? So your citation is right, and it's a big picture. History is a piece of that, and I think I'll stand on the answer I provided before. We'll see. I spend 2-3 hours. We have staff digging into options. There'll be plenty of speculation, sources say, but until the announcements are made officially, we'll let those guiding thoughts remain as the mile markers for us.
Do you have an idea of when those schedules will be announced?
I do.
Yeah. Do you have it?
Am I announcing that?
Yeah, would you like
Not
to?
yet.
How much input do you get from the teams about permanent rivals? That's the third option, I guess.
But it's not permanent. So, and that's a fair question, because when we explored this earlier, the phrase was permanent rivals. So these are annual rivalry games, and we've acknowledged that we'll go through a 4-year cycle and take an examination or look deeply. I think what we're seeing is, compared to our divisional days, the opportunity for the 9-game schedule. Remember, it's not just a 3-game schedule; it's all 9. Provides for the opportunity for more competitive balance. So we've had observations, but I think our campus has been respectful, that we understand the importance of some of these long-standing rivalries, and then we'll work to have as equitable a schedule as possible, just given that things change competitively.
These games like Wisconsin, South Bend, going up there, do you think these games are going to go away now that you guys have moved to 9?
Not from us. We've said 9+1, so we've maintained the expectation that you continue with these games. We'll see if others have the same approach. I think 9+2 might work for some in our league. I'm not sure it will work for all, and so you've seen some adjustments around the having more than one game. I think that's a challenge. And remember, college football is still a developmental game. There's all these comparisons. The NFL does this, the NBA does that. That goes back to some of the Sports Broadcasting Act. But you're taking young people who play in high school one year and putting them in a 90,000 seat stadium, 100,000 seat stadium. And so some of the flexibility around non-conference scheduling, beyond just the 9+1 we have, will remain. And I think that can be an important part of developing your program. Remember, like the stats in a conference game are about 45, 50 players participate. You go to some non-conference games, you'll bring 80, 85 players into that, and that's a developmental process.
You know how they have the the SEC Big Ten Challenge in basketball. Have you guys
SEC, ACC, yeah.
have you guys given any thought to the Big Ten SEC Challenge in football?
We have. Remember, last year our athletics directors met in early October in Nashville, and my observation there's three ways to do this scheduling. One is what we do now, which is the schools work that out. The second is the conference offices are more involved, but not directive, trying to coordinate matchups, and the third would be conference established. And Tony and I will continue to talk. It's really hard, and Joseph, I don't want to over-predict because I've seen conferences make declarations over the last decade and a half that this is what we're going to do, right, with a conference colleague. And it's a little bit more complicated because of other commitments and when games are played. But we'll keep in dialogue because I think, part of my being at non-conference games is to show the interest and support's real.
Anything else? You still standing on 16 teams, 14 teams?
Well, we're at 12. So one
Well,
of
I know we're at 12.
Yeah, but even if we don't agree, we'll be at 12. So there is a format for 26. That's been lost a little bit. Yeah, our conference, our athletics directors met, and we focused again on the 16. That does open up opportunities. There's all this debate about balance and shifting, whatever. I think 16 can work. If we stay at 12, we'll be fine. I'm pretty confident in our ability to access the 12.
Anything else, guys? All right. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.